Good morning, everyone. So the last days ahead of us, right? And we should live it through to get the best impressions for the last day, right? So for the first lecture, I'll be your translator. In advance, I ask your apologies because I'm not a professional translator, as you maybe know, but I will try my best.
Все, начнем.
Okay, let's start.
Коллеги, добрый день.
Hello, colleagues.
Я представлюсь, меня зовут Кирилл Лаврентьев.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Kirill Lavrentiev.
Я руководитель проектного офиса в топливном дивизионе госкорпорации Росатом-12.
I'm the head of project office at 12, the state corporation Rosatom.
12 в 2019 году был назначен интегратором Росатома по выводу из эксплуатации.
12 in 2019 was nominated as an integrator on decontamination processes.
Консолидирующий все отраслевые.
So the task of these, the task of 12, letting ahead of the company is to consolidate all the branches
По этому направлению.
on this direction, on this certain direction.
Мой опыт работы в этом направлении более 10 лет.
I have an experience of 10 years in the field.
Именно в направлении экономики вывода из эксплуатации обращения с РАО.
So especially on the economy of the decontamination and radioactive waste management.
Включая операторы атомных электростанций в России и госкорпорацию Росатом.
Including the operational tasks of the nuclear power plants in Russia and the state corporation Rosatom.
Сегодняшняя лекция – экономические аспекты вывода из эксплуатации.
Our lecture for today is dedicated to the economic aspects of nuclear facilities decommissioning.
Давайте начнем.
Let's start.
Если мы посмотрим базовые документы МАГАТЭ,
Look into the IAEA basic documents,
то мы можем найти несколько базовых вещей, на которых строится финансирование вывода из эксплуатации.
We can find some basic principles on which the decontamination process is based on.
Базовый принцип – загрязнитель платит за вывод из эксплуатации.
The basic principle is that the violator, the contaminator, pays for the decommissioning.
Если мы берем проекты вывода из эксплуатации, то они растянуты во времени.
So if we take into consideration the process of decontamination, so this is the time-lasting process.
Такой проект может занимать от 20 до 50 лет.
This project might take from 20 to 50 years.
В мировой практике существуют проекты, которые занимают более 100 лет.
In the worldwide practice, we can find projects that take more than 100 years.
Исходя из этих предпосылок,
Based on these principles,
сформировались некие подходы к
some
финансированию
approaching towards the financial projecting are formed
по выводу из эксплуатации.
on the decontamination process.
Первое –
The
это
first,
необходимость достаточности средств на вывод из эксплуатации.
the main thing is the necessity of the enough resources for decontamination.
Это ответственность за вывод из эксплуатации и невозможность перенести ее на следующие поколения.
So this is the taking the responsibility for decontamination of the present generation, not postponing it to the future generations.
И ответственность эксплуатирующей организации за сохранение ресурсов.
And the responsibility of the exploiting organization for the
Ресурсов.
for resources
На всех этапах вывода из эксплуатации.
for all the stages of decontamination process.
Это могут быть технические ресурсы,
Those
финансовые
might be
ресурсы.
technical resources, financial resources, and so on and so forth.
Если мы возьмем
If we
проект
take
вывода из эксплуатации,
the decontamination project,
то он делится на две стадии.
So it can be subdivided into two stages.
Первая стадия – это подготовка к выводу из эксплуатации.
The first stage is the preparation for decontamination process.
Она начинается за несколько лет до останова блока
So
атомной
it
станции.
starts,
За несколько лет.
some years in advance before the start of the decommissioning process.
На этом этапе выбирается концепция вывода из
On
эксплуатации,
this stage, the conception of decontamination is selected.
конечное состояние площадки,
The final state of the site.
начинается подготовка необходимой инфраструктуры
So the infrastructure is starting to be prepared
и другие вещи, которые могут понадобиться.
and
для
other
вывода.
stuff that might be required.
А после остановки блока
After, я не знаю, как будет остановка блока.
shutdown.
After the shutdown, спасибо.
После остановки блока начинается процесс извлечения отработавшего ядерного топлива.
After the shutdown, the process of withdrawing of the work-for fuel is started,
И удаление всех радиоактивных отходов, которые накоплены за время
and the
эксплуатации.
removal of all the radioactive waste which was accumulated through the operational stage, from the operational time.
В российской практике
In the practice of Russian Federation,
после этого мы получаем лицензию на вывод из эксплуатации.
after that stage, we can obtain a license on the decontamination. I'm sorry. Decommissioning, I'm sorry, decommissioning.
Если смотреть концепции, которые есть по выводу из эксплуатации, они делятся на три основных.
If we can look into the concepts on decommissioning, those actually can be subdivided into three categories.
На 2,5.
So let's say 2.5.
Это отложенный демонтаж,
First is delayed dismantling,
и его
and
этот проект
it's
может занимать более 50 лет.
50? 50?
50, да.
50. So itself, this stage itself can take up to 50 years.
Это немедленный демонтаж.
This is the immediate dismantling.
Проект занимает в среднем 20-30 лет.
This project in average takes from 20 to 30 years.
И экзотический вариант захоронения на месте, который
And,
практически
and
нигде
say,
не используется.
an exotic option, in fact. So this is burial on site.
Это все равно отложенное решение, которое в
Never
дальнейшем
mind, this is a
потребует,
delayed decision,
обращения
which in the future will require the operation with the consequences,
с накопленными РАО.
with the radioactive waste accumulated.
Если смотреть на статистику вывода из эксплуатации
Look into the statistic of the commissioning,
мировую,
so worldwide experience. We say.
только 35%
Only
проектов
35% of projects.
попадают в заявленные результаты.
So they reach the goal of the declared results.
Имеется в виду бюджет и сроки проведения проекта.
In terms of the budget and in the terms of the project.
Более 65% проектов выходят за рамки бюджета и время.
So more than 65% of the projects exceed the frames of the estimated costs and the terms.
Такие ситуации связаны как с неготовностью инфраструктуры,
So these situations are linked as to the not well done preparation of the infrastructure for decommissioning,
либо неготовностью самой эксплуатирующей организации,
or the unpreparedness of the exploiting organization
к реализации проекта
to
вывода
the
из эксплуатации.
realization of the commissioning process.
Это может быть связано с неправильной оценкой стоимости,
That might be the wrong estimation of the costs,
отсутствием системы управления проектом,
the absence of the control system of the project,
отсутствием каких-то технологий, которые должны
absence
были
of
быть
some
разработаны.
technologies which are to be developed in order to implement the decommissioning process,
И многими другими вещами.
and many other aspects.
Для того, чтобы повысить качество управления проектом на
in
этапе
order
вывода.
to improve the quality of the project management.
Были выпущены как общеотраслевые, общемировые документы, так
Some documents which are actually refers to the whole branch, to the whole sphere, to the whole, I say, field.
так и документы отдельных регуляторов,
Also, the separate documents for the distinctive regulators
и эксплуатирующих
and the
организаций.
exploiting organizations.
В 2009 году,
In 2009,
к моменту 2009 года,
by 2009,
когда в мире пришло понимание, что нужно каким-то образом консолидировать практику по выводу из
when
эксплуатации,
in the world there was, when the world came to the idea that they have to consolidate the experience on the decommissioning.
OECD,
Sorry.
ну так скажите,
Okay, OECD
выпустила так называемую «желтую книгу»,
issued a so-called yellow book
где были собраны
where they were collected
практики по финансированию проектов,
practices on the financial of the fundraising, let's say like this,
финансирование проектов вывода из эксплуатации атомных электростанций.
for the decommissioning of the new nuclear power plants.
На основании «желтой книги» в 2012 году
Based on the yellow book in 2012,
была разработана международная структура
the international structure was developed,
распределения
which
затрат на вывод из эксплуатации.
to spread the для распределения чего?
Затрат.
To spread the costs on decommissioning.
Это распределение содержало в себе 11 групп, 3 уровня детализации и 4 уровня затрат.
Okay, so this,
Внизу написано.
sorry?
Внизу написано.
Okay, this spread included 11 event groups, 3 level of detalization, and 4 types of costs.
Вот таким образом они выглядят.
They look like this.
Укрупненные группы работ,
Main types of works,
более детализированные группы работ
detailed group of single works,
и совсем небольшие группы работ,
and very little groups of works,
которые содержат в себе 4
which contain 4
типа затрат.
4 types of costs.
Капитальные затраты, затраты на
Capital investment,
зарплату,
labor
другие зарплаты и
expenses, other expenses, and unexpected expenses.
Если мы возьмем практику вывода из эксплуатации,
If we consider the practice of decommissioning,
здесь я достал практику с 2 наиболее распространенных типов атомных электростанций.
on this figure you can see I have summarized the two, что, простите, еще раз?
2 наиболее распространенных типов.
Do the mostly spread, the mostly common types of
Атомных электростанций.
Nuclear power plants.
Это PVR и BVR.
So those are so-called PWR and BWR.
Мы увидим, что наибольшее количество средств
We can see that the major amount of funds
тратятся на вопросы, связанные с обращением с радиоактивными отходами.
So the most costly part is for the radioactive waste management.
Однако стоит заметить интересную вещь.
However, we should spot one very interesting thing.
Во всех затратах на вывод из эксплуатации, представленных в документах,
So in all the decommissioning costs represented in the documents,
существует процент затрат,
there is a percentage of costs
которые относятся к непосредственному управлению проектом вывода из
which
эксплуатации.
refers directly to the management of the project.
Это может быть
That might
создание
be-
корпоративной системы управления
That
проектами.
might be the creating of что? Еще раз.
Корпоративная система.
The corporative systems,
Содержание персонала по управлению проектами
the costs for the staff,
и многое другое.
and many other.
Если мы посмотрим на распределение затрат по выводу из эксплуатации,
If we can look into the scale of the spread of the costs
ну вот, например,
for decommissioning, right?
например, в европейской практике,
For example, in European Union,
мы увидим, что такие затраты, они
we may see that these costs
несопоставимы
are uncomparable
от станции к станции.
from one station to another, from one plant to another.
В основном это связано с
In basic, this is linked to
развитием инфраструктуры
the
по
development
обращению
of
трав,
structure of the radioactive waste management,
развитием технологий,
technology development,
доступностью таких
the
технологий
availability of such technologies,
и многими другими
and
вещами.
many other aspects.
Такая же ситуация складывается
same
и на
situation
американском рынке.
Is also present at the United States market.
Хотя
However,
разброс не такой большой,
the range is not that big. That's it.
значит, здесь
Here,
я попробовал
I tried to
нарисовать перечень шагов,
figure out
Которые
the list of steps
необходимо пройти для того, чтобы
which are to be taken in order to
получить допущение
get the permit, the permission
для расчета стоимости вывода из эксплуатации
for
того
the
или иного.
calculation of the commissioning this or that object.
Я этот слайд комментировать не буду, здесь все
I will not
написано.
comment this figure.
И если кому-то надо, он может забрать.
If you need it, you can take it. Простите, а мы презентацию можем?
Не знаю, это там решайте с коллегами.
Нет,
Но у меня разрешение есть на нее, если что.
то есть вы можете ее нам оставить?
Ну, наверное.
Мы вас очень просим.
Хорошо.
So I'm trying to negotiate the.
Это не я не жадничаю, это вы там разбираетесь, у меня на есть разрешение. Так, значит, какие могут быть допущения при расчетах?
What assumption can occur in the estimation of costs?
Наиболее важные, наверное,
The
это
most important are
какого результата мы хотим добиться.
what result we would like to have.
Это коричневая площадка или зеленая площадка?
Is it green lawn or brown lawn?
Насколько у вас выстроена в система обращения с радиоактивными отходами?
How the system of radioactive waste management is designed in
Имеется
your
в виду
particular project.
именно в стране.
I mean, in the country, in your country.
Как у вас выстроена система обращения с отходами на площадке?
How it is designed directly on the side, the radioactive waste management.
Как у вас распределяется
How do you
ответственность по
spread the
финансированию
responsibility on the financial resources
между государством и оператором?
between the state and the operator?
А также, ну, немаловажно, естественно, это
Also,
типы
it is
объектов.
very important the types of the objects.
Ну, всем известно, что в России мы имеем
Well known that in Russia
все, что придумано в атомной отрасли, у нас
we
все
have
есть.
everything which now exists in the nuclear industry.
От атомных станций до
From
атомных
nuclear power
ледоколов.
plants to
Атомных ледоколов.
the ships icebreakers. So we have everything.
Если обсуждать подходы к оценке стоимости вывода из
If
эксплуатации,
we estimate the approaches towards the estimation, assessment,
мы пользуемся международной методологией.
so we use the international methodology.
Здесь существует 5 классов оценки.
So here you can see the 5 classes of assessment.
Начиная с 5 класса, который
Starting
дает
from the 5th,
наиболее большой разброс по
which yields the biggest range
разбросу между оценкой этой и конечной цене.
between the initial estimation cost and final cost.
И первый класс — это
And the
класс,
first class
который содержит оценки на
contain
основании,
assessment based on
детализированной оценки на основании
detailized assessment based on
отдельных технических решений и уже проведенных
separate
работ.
distinctive technical decisions and each one
Проведенных работ.
and
Хронологии проведенных
the works
работ.
that are already completed.
Значит,
So,
сейчас.
moment.
У нас еще одна большая проблема
There is another big problem
при выводе из эксплуатации.
at the commissioning.
Она связана с
It is
тем,
linked.
что персонал, который занимается эксплуатацией станции, знает ее,
It's linked with the fact that the personnel, the staff that works on the nuclear power plant
к моменту,
knows the object.
к моменту ее вывода из эксплуатации
To the very moment of the commissioning,
может не захотеть остаться на объекте для его дальнейшего вывода,
so the personnel working on the nuclear power plant to the moment of its decommissioning will be not very motivated to remain on the nuclear power plant at the
Либо-
moment of decommissioning,
либо просто состариться.
or maybe they can easily just get old.
Поэтому вот
That's why
необходимо заранее начинать
necessary
планировать работы по выводу
to
из эксплуатации,
plan the decommissioning procedure in advance.
учитывая ее историю
пожалуйста,
самой
можно пройти
станции и
Извините, пожалуйста.
учитывая историю станции
Taking into consideration the
Yep.
history of the plant
и опираясь на практику задействованного персонала.
and based on the practices of the personnel involved.
На этой дорожной карте показана российская практика.
On this, господи, как же дорожная карта?
Roadmap.
Что?
Roadmap.
Так?
Roadmap.
On this roadmap, thank you very much.
Показана российская практика
You can see the Russian practice
подготовки документации
of the
по выводу из эксплуатации.
documentation preparation for the commissioning.
Первое – это
First,
концепция вывода из
This is the
эксплуатации.
conception of the commissioning.
В ней определены основные параметры,
It's determined in it the basic parameters
такие как
like
зеленая площадка или коричневая площадка,
green loan or brown loan.
концепция немедленный демонтаж или отложенный демонтаж,
Is it a delayed dismantling or this is immediate dismantling
и похожие вещи.
and the similar things.
Концепция вывода из эксплуатации существует для всех действующих станций.
The conception of decommissioning exists for every nuclear power plants operating at the moment.
Следующий уровень детализации – это программа вывода из
The
эксплуатации.
next level of utilization is the commissioning program.
Программа вывода из эксплуатации
The
базируется
commissioning program is based
на концепции вывода из
conception
эксплуатации,
of decommissioning.
однако содержит
However,
детализированные
it
технические
contains
решения
detailed technical decisions, solutions
по демонтажу, дезактивации, обращению с РАО.
on dismantling, radioactive waste management and decommissioning.
Следующий этап – это
The next stage is
разработка проекта вывода из эксплуатации.
development of decommissioning project.
Проект разрабатывается
This project is elaborated
за несколько лет до остановки станции,
in some years before the shutdown,
до начала работ по выводу из эксплуатации.
in several years in advance on the works работ по
Вывода из эксплуатации. И содержит детализированную
and it contains the detailed information
по ее стоимости,
on the cost of decommissioning,
перечню работ,
the list of works,
обращению с РАО и так далее.
radioactive waste management, and so on and so forth.
Ну и последнее – это
And the
отдельные
last?
технические решения,
There are the separate, distinctive technical solutions
которые принимаются на этапе вывода из
which
эксплуатации.
are taken on the last stage of decommissioning.
Читать не буду, все видно.
I will not read it through, so it's seen.
Это вещи, на которые я бы первое внимание обращал при планировании
So
вывода из
if I
эксплуатации.
would have to plan the decommissioning, these are the first things I will pay my attention to.
Все.
That's all.
Не надо хлопать.
Please don't applaud. Any questions?
Всё.
Professor, you have a question? Sorry?
You build the power plant, okay? Why cannot I put fuel in the power plant and work it again? Why do I have to shut it down?
Хороший вопрос. Профессор Кра спрашивает, зачем мы должны обязательно закрывать станцию? Почему мы ее должны выводить из эксплуатации вместо того, чтобы просто загрузить туда повторно ядерное топливо и заставить его работать?
Если мы возьмем жизненный цикл
If
объекта,
we can take the life cycle of the object
то в нашей практике
in our practice,
мы продлеваем
we prolong
a lot of time.
a lot of time.
Мы продлеваем жизнь станции, да,
We prolong the life of the nuclear power
но мы не
plant,
можем делать это вечно,
but we can not do it for eternity.
потому что когда-то экономика сходится, и, ну, просто получается.
Okay. So this is not favorable to explore the station any longer. So the
Проводить
economy reasons lead us finally to shut down.
проще новую построить.
It is easier to build another one, a new one, a brand new one. Из-за того, что технологии уходят вперед.
Ну, они разрушаются, там же надо кучу
Okay,
всего модернизировать.
Okay, so the nuclear power plant is to be modernized, right? So it is to be renewed on a regular basis, and some things are destroying with the time.
Я не представляю оператора атомных электростанций,
I'm not representing the nuclear power plant's operator,
но я знаю, что продляет их срок службы на 10 лет, потом принимают решение о продлении еще.
but usually in practice, I know that usually the decision is taken to prolong the life cycle of the station for 10 years, and once these 10 years, over, there is another other decisions are taken to prolong the life cycle of the station for longer.
Все это, естественно, мы учитываем в концепциях и программах вывода из эксплуатации.
So we take that into consideration, estimating the conceptions of decommissioning.
Нет, всех мы...
May I please translate for our Zoomers, right, and for those who do not speak Russian? So are you developing the projects on shutdown of nuclear power plants only? The answer is no.
Если брать меня, я представляю ТВЭЛ.
Me personally, I represent TWEL.
А ТВЭЛ, он интегратор отраслевой. Он за все
And
отвечает.
TWEL is the branch operator. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I saw a lot of figures of how much to decommission the power plants or other nuclear facility, but I want to get like what's the average amount, like the average cost to decommission the nuclear facilities or the power plants.
Вот Элис говорит, что я видел тут много картиночек, которые показывают нам разную стоимость по выводу эксплуатации. А есть какая-то средняя стоимость вывода из эксплуатации?
Такой стоимости не существует.
It doesn't exist. The average cost doesn't exist.
Такая стоимость зависит от многих вещей.
So the cost depends on many factors.
Как вы квалифицируете радиоактивные отходы?
How do you qualify the radioactive waste?
Какие производственно-технологические цепочки по обращению с ними у вас есть?
What the production chains do you have in the system?
Какие технологии для вас доступны по демонтажу?
Which technologies on dismantling are available for you?
Какая-то, может быть, налоговая политика и прочее.
Maybe some taxes and duties and so on and so forth. Sorry.
So there is a new technology for nuclear power plants called small modular reactors. So I would like to know, like, if it's going to be decommissioned, so like how much can it be cost?
Elias, could you please repeat? Elias упомянул какую-то особенную...
Ну, модульный реактор, малый модульный реактор он упомянул, да.
Okay, thank you so much. What is your question, in fact? So you've mentioned that technology and... Ага, ну стоимость такой программы.
К сожалению, я так как...
I'm sorry.
Не могу тебе сказать.
I can tell you. I don't have any answer for you. Sorry. Any more questions?
Дешевле, чем большую станцию.
But it's cheaper.
Okay, I just wanted to understand something. In South Africa,
В Южной Африке а,
license, then the commissioning plan was part of the systems. Is it done the same way?
Could you please repeat once again? Я так понимаю, что у них в Южной Африке есть какая-то особая система, и когда вы подаете на выведение из эксплуатации, то что-то, вот сейчас вот я постараюсь понять. Окей, once again? Мгм. Есть
Рекомендации.
абсолютно, есть требования к регуляции, так?
That we apply for license.
Когда вы подаете на повторное
Лицензию, да.
лицензирование, да,
The commissioning plan forms part of the safety case.
значит, отдел, который занимается выводом из эксплуатации, оценивает часть. What part? Could you please repeat?
So
What is the part? В общем, safety case, ну, это понятно, это, в общем, короче говоря, часть, которая посвящена выводу из эксплуатации, является частью
Проекта.
проекта по, safety. У них, я так понимаю, что это особый термин, safety, это безопасность, да, правильно.
Это недавняя практика,
This is a very recent practice,
которая предполагает
which supposes
раздел по выводу из эксплуатации
to divide the decommissioning,
в общий
distinguish decommission.
проект строительства станции.
Okay, so if I understood that correctly, весь проект чего?
Строительство станции.
So once the nuclear power plant is in project, it is a part of the project, the decommissioning of it.
Там небольшой раздел, да, в конце.
This is, the final part of the project, not very big one, but it is already included in the general project for the brand new nuclear power plant. More questions?
Да, у меня вопрос онлайн.
У меня вопрос. Есть требования МАГАТЭ, и также вы это сказали, что до получения лицензии все эксплуатационные отходы и ядерные материалы должны быть удалены уже из, с
Ну,
площадки.
технические среды, я немножко ошибся там, да.
Ну, получается, что если это по каким-то причинам, по тем или другим невозможно сделать, то, как
Давайте
это
остановимся на то, что отработавшее ядерное топливо будет сейчас. Да нет, это частный вопрос, я думаю, его не надо переводить. Давайте остановимся на том, что отработавшее ядерное топливо должно быть удалено, да, а с остальное это дискуссионно.
эксплуатационные отходы, но это же требование МАГАТЭ, оно есть?
Я не знаю требования МАГАТЭ наизусть, их столько, я их читаю, ломаю голову каждый раз.
Okay. Ну, хорошо. Окей.
So,
Ребят, я же прошу, пожалуйста, можно не разговаривать вслух, громко, но это очень мешает, правда, сосредоточиться.
so I wanted to hear your story, but I'm not sure what to say. Okay, but what I wanted to understand is the financing model in our country. Then when you apply based on the size of the operation and also the estimated cost, they estimate the cost of the commissioning, then on an annual basis,
Mhm.
you have to provide, the regulator will tell you, this is how much you must save annually towards the decommissioning activities. So you must provide financial statements every year to show that indeed you are saving money for the decommissioning activities. Is that how it's done here?
Да, я понял, что да, я понял. Ну, пересчитывают каждый год они.
Мгм.
Ну, такая практика тоже есть.
У нас в России.
У нас в России мы периодически
In Russia, we periodically
актуализируем концепции
we
программы вывода из
actualize the
эксплуатации.
conception of the decommissioning.
которые содержат в себе расчеты.
which contains the calculations as well.
Всё.
That's it? Mhm. Online? There is online question. You know, I'm kittenish in
Да,
that.
у меня вопрос онлайн.
Okay, please ask
Hello?
your question.
Okay.
Вот там.
Thank you for the lecture. I was wondering, how many RBMK reactors are close to commissioning?
Could you please
currently?
repeat? And a bit louder, please.
Сколько реактор RBMK близкий к выводу из эксплуатации?
I believe that all the figures and all the terms were given in the presentation. All the terms. Or at the beginning of the lecture, it was mentioned what time the contamination takes based on the categories.
No, my question is how many
How, what?
RBMK reactors? Сколько реактор RBMK близкий выводу из эксплуатации? How many RBMK reactors are near
Сколько объектов?
How many
decommissioning?
objects
Да.
you mean?
No, реактор. Сколько? Реактор RBMK.
А, Сейчас есть лицензия на вывод из эксплуатации.
Еще раз?
Сейчас есть лицензия на вывод из эксплуатации 2 реакторов. Это реакторы
Да.
УВР на Нововоронежской станции.
Have you got the answer? No? So at
Please repeat. Еще раз,
there are
пожалуйста.
two reactors.
Количество остановленных
реакторов.
реакторов больше.
The amount of the reactors of being shut down is more.
Они находятся на стадии подготовки к выводу из
They are on the
эксплуатации.
stage of preparation to the shutdown.
Вывод из эксплуатации.
decommissioning.
Окей. Да, спасибо. У меня еще один вопрос. Да?
I have another
Это,
question, please.
I was interested. What do you think of the technology RBMK today?
RBNK. I have no idea what is
Ага.
this.
Я понял.
RBNK. Okay.
Это
Okay.
реактор.
Но я
Что вы думаете
за
об этой технологии?
технологиях не отвечаю за технологии.
I'm not responsible for the technologies. I'm sorry.
Ничего не могу сказать.
I can say you anything on that.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you. Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
I ask about if there is any studies to regenerate the nuclear power plant instead of decommissioning, and what is the
Хаб спрашивает, существует ли технология регенерации станции вместо того, чтобы ее выводить из эксплуатации? Это первый вопрос.
what is the main part in the power plant that make the decommissioning is urgent necessary? What is the main part? In the main part.
Главная, основная часть. In what? I'm sorry. Do you mean what is the main part of the nuclear power plant? Ага. И какой фактор является доминирующим при оценке, что атомную станцию нужно закрывать?
Можно отвечать, да?
Yes, please.
Они там болтают. Ну, доминирующим...
In fact, our lecture is not very happy that you are chatting.
Доминирующим фактором всегда является экономика.
The predominant factor is economy, in fact.
Что при продлении
Either we are talking about the prolongation of the life cycle of the nuclear power plant.
что при выборе конечной
or we are
стадии,
talking about the final stage
ну, конечной стадии вывода из эксплуатации.
of the decommissioning?
Здесь же ответ на ваш первый вопрос.
Here is the answer on your first question.
Так называемая коричневая площадка,
So-called brown loan,
когда атомная станция становится нерадиационно опасным объектом,
when the nuclear power plant is not the hazardous from the point of view on nuclear energy, when it's not hazardous anymore.
от нее остаются здания и сооружения.
So the remains are the building, the constructions, and so on and so forth.
В которых вы можете разместить любые производства.
So you can place there any types of, for example, production.
Поэтому, если говорить об использовании атомной станции, то
So if
экономика,
we think of the usage of the nuclear power plant,
да, экономика решает все.
economy decides everything.
Do you remove all the construction or only the radioactive material?
Все подвергается демонтажу, все конструкции
Все
или
радиационно
только
опасное.
everything which is hazardous. Any more questions?
I think just to clarify, because it seems that we have just to ask this. When we become the plant has reached, take a microphone there.
Okay, so the plant has reached its end of life, right? So when we decommissioning, we are getting rid of everything. That is why he was talking about you have to make a goal from the beginning, whether you want your land to be a green field or a brown field. So a green field, it means it must be below your clearance level. So you can use it for anything. But if it's brown field, it means you can only use it for some things. It's not below your clearance level. It's not cleared from regulatory control. So you can use it for maybe still within the facility. So when we decommissioning, we are getting rid of everything. You won't even notice that there was ever a reactor built here. But then it depends, the clearance level of the land depends on the aim, what you want to use that land for. I don't know if I assisted in understanding whether we decommission everything, including the buildings sometimes. If you have got no use for the building, then you have to decommission everything and deal with the rubbles on how you're going to dispose them. Are they contaminated or not? Then you use the land for something else.
Thank you. No more questions? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for coming.
Я тут за школой послеживаю немножечко.
So, dear colleagues, please take your seats. We continue our last but not least lecture from Ilya Afanasyev. Please, floor is yours.
Good morning, dear colleagues. My name is Ilya Afanasyev, and I'm a laboratory head of Radiation Safety Division in Scientific and Engineering Center for Nuclear and Radiation Safety. It's a technical support to the organization of Rostechnadzor. And I'd like to present you some information about current state of regulatory framework for nuclear facilities decommissioning in our country. And the main federal law, it's a federal law of on atomic energy use from November 21, 1995, number 170 FZ. And it provides all nuclear facilities into three main categories. The first is nuclear facilities installations, and this category includes structures and complexes with nuclear reactors, including PPs, ships, and other watercraft, space and aircrafts, other vehicles, and transportable devices with nuclear reactors. And structures and complexes with industrial, experimental, and research nuclear reactors, critical and subcritical nuclear assemblies. Structures, complexes, ranges, installations, and devices with nuclear charges for peaceful use, and other facilities. You can see this on the screen. The second category is storage facilities, and it includes stationary facilities and structures intended to storage of nuclear materials and radioactive substances, storage or disposal of radioactive waste. The third category is radiation sources. It includes complexes, installations, devices, equipment, and other products not related to nuclear installations, which contain radioactive substances or generate ionizing radiation. And you can see another category, nuclear materials. It's materials containing or capable of reproducing fissile nuclear substances. This is the main categories in atomic energy use in Russian Federation. On this screen, you can see different stakeholders in the field of atomic energy use. For example, government of Russian Federation and international organizations in the field of atomic energy use. For example, IAEA. And you can see bodies of state regulation of safety in the use of nuclear energy. It's a regulatory bodies. And for example, we have some regulatory bodies. For example, Rostechnadzor, Ministry of Natural Resources, Rosprirobnadzor, Rospotrebnadzor, etc. And we have governing bodies for the use of nuclear energy. These companies can use nuclear facilities, for example, and it includes Rosatom, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Health, Rostechnadzor, Rosstandart, and a lot of other organizations. And you can see National Operator for Radioactive Waste Management. It's a company of Rosatom, and you can see state governing body in the field of radioactive waste management. It's another company, but it's under the authority of Rosatom. And so, on this slide, you can see a structure of the documents in the field of atomic energy use. The main acts is a constitution of the Russian Federation and international agreements. The next level is federal laws, and you can see the main laws in the field of atomic energy use in Russian Federation. For example, on atomic energy use, on radioactive waste management, on radiation safety of the population, etc. The third level includes degrees of the President of the Russian Federation and degrees and orders of the government. And the main technical documents are acts of federal executive bodies, including federal rules and regulations in the field of atomic energy use. We call FNP, maybe you know, and sanitary and epidemiological rules and regulations, and different recommendations, methodological instructions, and safety guides for the use of atomic energy. In accordance with Federal Law number 170 FZ, requirements for the safe of use of atomic energy, including safety requirements for nuclear facilities, safety requirements for activities in the field of atomic energy use, including goals, principles, criteria for safety. They are established in the federal rules and regulations, FNP, which are mandatory for all persons and subjects carrying out activities in the field of atomic energy use on the territory of the Russian Federation. In accordance with degree of government of Russian Federation number 401, Rostekhnadzor is authority which includes the development, approval, and commissioning of NP and safety guides. In accordance with the another order of Rostekhnadzor number 453, the reason of refusing to issue a license may be the non-compliance with the requirements of NP of the documents submitted to Rostekhnadzor by the licensee, by the license applicant, and sustaining the safety of nuclear facility and or licensed type of activity. In order to promote compliance with the requirements of NP, the safety guides are approved by Rostekhnadzor and containing recommendations for fulfilling the requirements of NP. For example, including methods for performing work, techniques, conducting safety review and safety assessing, as well as clarifications and other recommendations of the implementation of the safety requirements contained in the federal rules and regulations. On this slide, you can see structure of federal rules and regulations in nuclear facilities decommissioning. And the first and main level of these NPs, it's a document which called Ensuring Safety During Decommissioning of Nuclear Facilities General Provisions, NP 091, at the top of this slide. At the second level is general safety requirements for specific categories of nuclear facilities, GSR. The third level is decommissioning safety requirements for specific categories of nuclear facilities, for example, for NPP units, research nuclear installations, ships with nuclear installations, and radioactive waste storages. And I'm so sorry. And we have a lot of different safety guides covering most aspects of the nuclear facilities decommissioning. And I'd like to tell you about something of these recommendations. This is the main scheme of the nuclear facilities decommissioning planning in our country. And it's the same in IAEA scheme. For example, you can see different documents which called concept, program, project documentation, and safety review. Decommissioning concept is the main document of the decommissioning planning, which should update at all stages of nuclear facilities life cycle. And you can see IAEA approach to nuclear facilities decommissioning planning is the same, but they have some another documents, initial decommissioning plan, updated decommissioning plan, and final decommissioning plan. And for example, decommissioning concept at the early stages of nuclear facilities life cycle, it's an analog of initial decommissioning plan. Updated decommissioning concept is an analog of updated decommissioning plan. And decommissioning program, project documentation, and safety review, all of these three documents are analog of final decommissioning plan. And we should say about decommissioning concept. It's a main document of the nuclear facility decommissioning planning process, which should contain organizational and technical design solutions aimed at safety of decommissioning of nuclear facility. And we developed two main safety guides, RB 153 and RB 008, for decommissioning concept development. And decommissioning concept includes these main aspects. For example, possible options for nuclear facilities decommissioning or decommissioning strategies, and the description of the plant and states of the nuclear facility. The next is selected option of nuclear facility decommissioning, criteria and justification of its selection. The next is assessment of the total amount, mass, volume, type, category, class, and activity of radioactive waste generated during decommissioning of the nuclear facility. The next is list, description, sequence, and preliminary schedule of the main activities to prepare for the decommissioning and decommissioning of the nuclear facility. The next is measures to ensure safety in the management of radioactive waste generated during the decommissioning and the radioactive waste removal from the measures for the radioactive waste removal from the facility site for storage or disposal. The next is list of conditions for necessary revision of the facility decommissioning concept. And the last, the procedure for maintaining the facility decommissioning database, including techniques and methods for recording, collecting, and storage of data necessary for decommissioning. This is a main aspects of decommissioning planning. For example, selection of nuclear facility decommissioning option, development of appropriate design solutions aimed at its implementation, and assessment of the cost of decommissioning works for the selected strategy. And you can see three main strategies for decommissioning of nuclear facilities. For example, immediate dismantling, deferred dismantling, and entombment. The next aspect is establishment of responsible persons, updated periods, methods, techniques for collecting, processing, saving, and protection of the records and data significant to decommissioning process. For example, it could be presented in three ways: paper data, paper and digital data, and centralized IT system. And the last main aspect of planning decommissioning It's a determination of the necessary measures for safety of radioactive waste management during nuclear facilities decommissioning, including identification of required radioactive waste containers and radioactive waste disposal facilities. And this is a structure of our safety guide RB008. It's a main safety guide of decommissioning planning, which includes maybe all aspects of decommissioning planning. And it includes these main chapters. For example, recommendations for list of tasks solved by the decommissioning concept, analysis of possible impact of the nuclear facilities decommissioning on other nuclear facilities, a list of legal acts taken into account in the decommissioning concept. The next chapter, which called the input data, includes characteristics of the nuclear facility and its site, for example, scheme, etc. The next, information sources used in the decommissioning concept. For example, documents, databases, etc. And the information about the decommissioning database maintenance. The third chapter, it's a main chapter of decommissioning concept, which called decommissioning options or strategies and selected option or strategy. And it includes design solutions aimed at nuclear facility decommissioning, list and description of various decommissioning strategies and selected strategy and the choice justification. The next chapter works on decommissioning preparation and implementation, and it includes a list of works on decommissioning preparation and implementation, sequence and interdependence of decommissioning works, and estimated decommissioning works duration. And the last chapter of the decommissioning concept is called updating the decommissioning concept, and three main aspects: scheduled decommissioning concept updating periods, conditions for unscheduled decommissioning concept updating, and information and reasons of changing of the decommissioning strategy. And the RB008 includes some appendices. For example, appendix to structure and contents of the decommissioning concept at various stages of nuclear facility life cycle. Appendix 3 recommended composition of the records and data significant to nuclear facility decommissioning that should be included in a database. Appendix 4 recommendations on development of lists of works on decommissioning preparation and implementation, and Appendix 5 so recommendations on planning of works of decommissioning preparation and implementation. And we have another document which is called decommissioning program. It's an analog of the part of the final decommissioning plan in IAA. And program, it's an organizational and technical document which should contain the main decommissioning activities in accordance with the selected decommissioning strategy. For example, it includes procedure, conditions, and planned schedule of activities of preparation and implementation of nuclear facility decommissioning. And also description of changes in nuclear facilities operating conditions after final shutdown of its facility, including a list of systems, elements for which the operation regulations are changing. The next sequence and preliminary schedule of implementation of the nuclear facility decommissioning stages, scope, methods, and schedule of the nuclear facility comprehensive engineering and radiation survey. We call it KIRO in Russian. In IAA, it names characterization. Maybe you know this. The next aspect is organizational structure of management to nuclear facility decommissioning preparation and decommissioning implementation. The next is description of the nuclear facility decommissioning database, including methods and tools for information storage. The next is brief description of the planned final states of nuclear facility after completion of each decommissioning stages. And the last is conditions and procedure for making changes to the nuclear facility decommissioning program. And we have two safety guides, RB 013, recommendations for content of program, a decommissioning program of NPPs. And RB 105, recommendations for content of decommissioning program of ships and another okay. I don't know how it's English. And thank you for your attention. I have some materials in paper. For example, this. I have 10 of these presentations, and I can give you if you want, of course. Maybe I have only 10. I'm so sorry for my English. In Russian, this presentation will be more interesting, but I try to answer your questions if you have. Maybe colleagues help me with translation of your questions. Thanks so much. Okay.
Thank you so much for this informative presentation. I know that it covers decommissioning, but since you are with the regulator side, I have a question on nuclear strict liability, on how is it dealt with within Russia. Like in South Africa, we have a challenge where nuclear strict liability insurance.
Это понимаю, что это страховка. Это покрытие ответственности, да?
Okay. Okay. Are you about financial aspects of decommissioning or not?
No, not the financial aspect. I thought you were from the regulatory side. So I was just asking how you dealing with the issue of nuclear strict liability insurance. Like if you're going to have a strict nuclear liability insurance. Strict nuclear liability
I
insurance.
hope this picture can help us. The main responsible of all nuclear facilities and at all stages of their life cycle is governing bodies for the use of nuclear energy. For example, if NPP is used by Rosatom or we have Rosenergatom. Rosenergatom company is under the authority of Rosatom. Then the main response, Rosenergatom is responsible for their NPPs. And we have regulatory bodies which controls all activities of Rosenergatom at all stages of life cycle of NPPs. And after the end state of facility, Rostechnadzor is controlling this end state, and if all requirements are выполнены. Yeah.
Just to put context to it. So maybe just to put context to try and bring the context into the question. When you're doing the decommissioning work, right? And then at the end, a member of the public for some reason come and claim that during this activity of the decommissioning project, they were overexposed to radiation. Where do they go to claim for compensation? And how is that compensation catered for throughout the whole process?
Короче говоря, в Южной принят определенный стандарт, называемый liability. Это ответственность, когда, скажем, потребители вашего, не вашего продукта, в общем, в целом, да, несут какой-то ущерб, у Южной Африки есть определенный стандарт, определенная процедура, да, которая предусматривает, что атомная станция, да, у нее есть ответственность за причиненный ущерб. Она говорит, вот если у вас представитель общественности, да.
Is it about insurance for public?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
В процессе вывода из эксплуатации была превышена доза.
Okay. You can see this way, people and public organizations, and this way to. Okay. You can see this way between public and regulatory bodies, and public organization and regulatory bodies, and our regulatory body, for example, Rostechnadzor, can fluent to Rosatom, maybe, but
is to check for safety, check for security. So this is the main institution who controls the breach. Okay?
Если сказать правильно, как по-английски, при нарушении требований суд обяжет Росатом возместить.
If the law is violated, this is how to say, this is the loyal case, right? It is brought to the court, and the court will decide what was actually the damage and what organization should cover this matter in the terms of their liability. So what are actually the official documents? Do we have no?
How do you make sure that is in place, the process, the model for this insurance liability funds? How do you ensure that it's there to take insurance? What does the insurance have?
Что покрывает страховка в этом случае? Если, скажем так, есть ли у организации уже определенные средства, да, зарезервированные, насколько я понимаю, да, и рамки ответственности организации за причиненный ущерб, за нанесенный ущерб? Или это только в судебном порядке решается? Все, я поняла. То есть она говорит о том, что у них есть такая политика, стратегия, которая предусматривает по умолчанию оплату, да.
Это решается в индивидуальном порядке, скажем.
It is solved in the individual order.
Между Ростехнадзором, судом
Between
и
these,
организацией.
the controlling organization and и кем?
Регулятор, Ростехнадзор, суд.
The regulator, the court.
And Rosatom.
And the state corporation Rosatom.
не ответили. And we have some federal laws, which includes some requirements for insurance, for example, for public. And you can see the federal law on radiation safety of the population. And it includes a lot of requirements for operators and Rosatom, for example, for this insurance. And you can see federal law on environmental protection, for example.
Yeah, I think the relevant people to talk to will be the Rosatom people about the strictly liability insurance specifically. Will be the relevant.
Ну, она говорит о том, что наверняка существует какая-то... Есть люди в Росатоме, да, в чьи профессиональные обязанности входят работать вот с этими кейсами.
Возможно, это уже вопрос к Росатому.
This is the question to Rosatom, in fact, how it is organized in there. Any more questions? Thank you very much.
So, dear colleagues, we will just go briefly through our tests. Let's start with our introductory test. The first question was about the valence state of uranium, and there was quite a lot of correct answers. So that's good. Even not all the people are chemists, but then isotopes, 100%. So I didn't put the graph here, 100%. Everybody is correct. Then the match of type of particle with the definition. So not all the people were correct. I mean, here, maybe not half questions answers were correct, but it was, for example, one wrong answer in every list of the participant, but yeah, in total I calculated it like let's say half of the correct answers. Then the radioactivity depends on time as a first equation. So again, quite a lot of people were correct. Then the standard unit for activity is becquerel. Still quite a lot of people good. Then how the activity will change after 2 half-lives, and as we know, this dependence, it will decrease by 4 times, so almost everybody will correct. And I think the most difficult question was about the reaction of the decay. Again, about half of the participants answered correctly. So yeah, uran go to thorium, fluorine to oxygen because it's beta plus, so we go to the left, carbon 14 to nitrogen, and technetium. So it's metastable state of the same nuclide, so it go to just technetium 99. So because it's only gamma written here. And the most efficient method for detection of gamma quanta, maybe it would be better to write not for detection, but for analyzing of gamma quanta, because I meant this answer. Yeah, because Geiger-Müller counter is not efficient at all for gamma quanta. It's not efficient for measurement or for analyzing. Liquid scintillator, yeah, maybe they are more efficient in some cases, but semiconductor detectors, they are much more usable for the analyzing of gamma quanta. And yeah, this type of matrices nowadays are allowed for high-level waste mobilization. Today, as we already mentioned, technologically only one type, glass, is allowed for the immobilization of high-level radioactive waste. So, and then final test. Let's go. Short explanation of radioactive waste. Almost everybody were correct. I even didn't count it. Then, yeah, again, who make the final decision? Only government can make a final decision for your country. Not IAEA, not other agencies, only government. The repetition for the high-level waste, and now it's much more correct answers. So it was 68, now it's 87. So that is good. And for intermediate level waste, yeah, it's a hard choice because, again, I think that many people thought about the cement, but it was also correct that it really depends on country and radioactive waste type. So I calculated both answers as correct, and that's why it's a pretty high number of correct answers. Isotopes, again, it's almost everybody were correct. The alpha particle, here only one correct answer, because yeah, it has 2 protons, but it has only 2 neutrons, so it mass 4, and the charge +2, not +4, yeah, and helium 4, not 3. So, but yeah, pretty a lot of people answered correctly. Now it's about the 6 half-lives. It was, I think, difficult to calculate. but again, quite a lot of people calculated it correctly. Yeah. Fill the gaps. It is again quite difficult. Question was only half of the participants answered correctly. Our Tiknetsum. Yeah, and this is the reaction for production of carbon-14 in the atmosphere. Yeah. The highest penetration ability have, of course, gamma quanta. 100% were correct answers. The secular equilibrium is when the mother radionuclide has much higher half-life than the daughter radionuclide. So quite a lot of people answered correctly. I was surprised. For good efficiency, that means that we absorbed most of the gamma quanta, and we remember that the material with high Z absorbed gamma quanta efficiently. So the correct answer is 1. The quenching in liquid scintillation is very important for low energy beta particles, yeah, like tritium, like carbon-14, like nickel-63 and others. For alpha particle, quenching does not have a lot of effect, almost nothing. And gamma emitting radionuclides, what is the shielding for them? Of course, lead, so 100% were correct. And again, these questions, they are connected. Materials with high Z and the lead. So what is the half-life borderline between short-lived and long-lived radionuclide? It is 30 years. Yeah, it's correct. Advantages of cementation, 100% were correct answers. It's 2 advantages: a low temperature process and cement are acceptable for different types of waste. So what is the first step in treatment? And many correct answers was yes, exactly, characterization before any other actions with the radioactive waste. And the release criteria, yeah, it can be different in different sites. So summarizing our all the answers, we started with the 60% of correct answers, and we finished with almost 80. So very nice. So, and now, where are my colleagues? We will start the ceremony of closing. Just a moment.
Dears? Sorry. So we are coming to the maybe most pleasant part. Sweet and bitter moment. Right. Both, because first of all, because the school is over and this is bitter. And from another hand, it is sweet because we are going to give you your certificates. Okay. First of all, may I please, on behalf of the organizing committee, say a couple of words that we are really, really happy to deal with such a fantastic team.
Yes, so I heard that you had really intensive program, yeah, and exchange of knowledge. I'm really pleased that you were lucky to see different type of winters. Yeah, now it's more regular due to climate change and nuclear energy. I hope will make winter the same you saw in the very beginning in Russia. And I also very pleased that you visited Atom Pavilion, yeah, and exhibition. I hope you are impressed because it's very new, very modern. You know, it's a shame for me, but even I haven't been here. So yeah, you are more developed and lucky than I am, and I heard a good response. So I also should to do it in a very short time. As I hope today we also have a little bit more time for communication, yeah. And I know that on Monday you had a really good dinner. Hope you enjoyed it. And such kind of knowledge exchange in a very friendly atmosphere, in very with very high diversity, is really important base in back, especially in radioactive waste management. It's really important for all nuclear energy. Yeah, you know that nowadays in lots of countries we are developing new technologies, new generation technologies. I mean, fast breeding reactors and etc. And all of such kind of technologies are connected to radioactive waste management. So honestly, it's one of the key issues. Maybe not a very face issue, yeah, but you know that it affects significantly all development. And you are experts. You are the persons who not only making, as some people, yes, say a dirty job, but you are those people who affects and the future, how radioactive waste management will go further and dispose as well. So I'm really happy to see you, and I hope that all this school would be the first point to make a broad cooperation, and maybe next year, as we discussed, provide some such kind of seminars in different formats, maybe shorter, maybe longer, in other countries. So I'm really pleased to see you here. Thank you.
So, first of all, let me announce what we actually are certifying you with. Certificate of Completion, International Winter School on Radiochemistry. This is to certify that the named person has successfully completed the International Winter School on Radiochemistry 2023 curriculum that includes the following topics: radioactive waste management, types of radioactive waste, classification of radioactive waste, characterization of radioactive waste, transportation and storage of radioactive waste, environmental aspects, and the signatures. You will also get known who is actually signed your certificates. And I would like to invite here Zhang Hui. Svetlana Kachan. Elias Simpunga. Beningo Mamani Cuenca. Marina Halalovic. Татьяна Лисянович. Владислав Малаш. Sohir Sahar Mohamed Abdel Moetikora. Volha Urbanovic. Heba Fatia Abbas Kenawi El Komei. Baruch Igitov. Cinta Wulandari. Alina Винярская. Ling Hui. Денис Артемов. Олеся Соколова.
That's how technologists work, you know.
They recognize your name. This similar family.
I guess it would be one of the most informal.
By the way, you know what is interesting? I tried to say it in a Belarusian way with more R, you know? Never mind. The technology couldn't be cheated. Liana Belmont.
Потом дальше докажи, что ты занимался опять. You know, at least other people will think that you just were listening and using.
Анастасия Басак. Эльсинта. Ziti Baleng Molike Kesi. Amira Zawawak. Dilshot Tursunov. Marwa Ibrahim. Ehab Mohammed Abdel Rahman Fathala. And the Bohog ladies, Graguelo Molthabane. I managed. Did I? Dear participants, the International Winter School 2023 on radiochemistry is over. Thank you. Dears, we also have a good tradition to leave your signatures on the on the poster down below on the first floor. We will give you the markers of different colors, right? And please leave your, I don't know, maybe good wishes, maybe some words you would like to tell, maybe just your names and your signatures, okay? Thank you so much. Of course, so once you leave us your signatures, once you know the shooting is over, once the signing is over, you can go to the chemistry department and have your meals. Okay? Okay. The tour, if you wish, we will agree on. Maybe without. Okay. So I believe that we will be done within, I say, half of an hour, right? So as planned, and then you will have your meals. And for those who would like me to guide them through the chemistry department building, those are welcome to keep an eye on the chemistry department at 4 p.m. Floor, second floor.
The most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happy. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride the one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle. The best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but snatch a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Well, give his red big and warm and green. For self, a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light.
Hi there. Can I ask a question, please?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. I've just seen a message in our chat that online participants won't receive certificates. I just wanted to ask why and if it's fair that online participants won't be receiving any certificates.
Okay, I will ask the organizers. Let me just few seconds. Там поступил вопрос онлайн неожиданно про сертификаты. Получите участники?
Я им отвечаю, офицер. The answer is
Они будут получить?
Нет.
But,
Dears, do you hear me? Do you hear me? Olga
Да,
Yakovleva is here. In fact, we informed some of you, if not all of you, that unfortunately for the online participation, we don't issue certificates. We don't do that because we didn't follow on your participation, right? And you didn't tag the incoming and outcoming task. Certificate means that you have participated the full course of lectures, which we actually cannot confirm with the online participants. So this is a free form of participation, right? And also the offline participants, they took part in practicals, which is also not possible when you participate online, right? So unfortunately, due to what I've mentioned before, the certificates are not issued for the online participants.
Okay, but I believe previous participants in other winter schools, I think, received certificates.
Yes, they had, but that
And
was
they
a
were also
different
online as
procedure.
well?
That was a different procedure for your understanding. The schools are guided and run by different divisions of Rosatom state corporations, right? And they provide us with different support and different conditions. So given they provide us with those, we can do that. And for your understanding, the certificates are to be signed, verified and signed. As every state corporation, it has its own bureaucracy, which you have to follow, right? So giving you the certificate, we should guarantee that you have attended the full course of lectures, right? And be followed on that. And that needs for us to take more resources on that. And for this school, the conditions were different. So we didn't follow and you didn't get your certificates. In fact, the previous school was an exclusion. Usually we do not provide the online participants with certificates. Any questions?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Слушайте, а может быть нам вот эту штуку унести? Защита сейчас будет.
Да, я сейчас, я хочу покурить.
Слушай, а куда ты сейчас успела? А? Куда ты успела?
Нам Андрей просто решил не отдавать. Мне он на стол положил.
Какая прелесть.
Он решил мне не отдавать.
Какая прелесть.
Ты не говори, колокляная.
Можно ли ты видишь?
Это сразу, это накиряться и закинуться. Понимаешь? Так, кайфачок.
Там говорят, если на QR-код навести, птичка с тобой разговаривает начнет.
Вот у нас птичка.
А,
Даже,
уже
кажется, что
разговаривает?
даже если не наводить на QR-код, а немножко выпить, то будем разговаривать с тем,
Грибы.
птички, грибы, конопляная же, марихуана.
Алло.
Настойно на
Так,
бычка.
где тут у нас, блин, слепая не вижу ничего. Печеньки где?
Юля, ну блин.
Все, я буду вот буквально...
Я никогда не читаю.
Мне интересно посмотреть. Нет,
Вот еще свои комплексы.
так, так, мы сейчас все, я сейчас все заберу отсюда.
Ага.
Я говорю, пойдем покурим, и я буду разбирать спокойно. Так.
Ну, ладно.